I'm high pace with a high rise taste.
Addicted to the vapors of paper.
Embark in the darkest sins in the hearts of men. Every rapper that rap ain't celebrity.
You're tuned in to Two Cynics in a Pod with your hosts Gotham Green and Martin Arsenault, a weekly drop-in on a conversation between two friends of over 20 years.
Yo, what's up, man?
Yo, Mar, what's going on, bro? Still got this little fucking under the weather shit going on, but I'm getting better. I'm feeling good. You?
I've been chilling on Wednesdays. I usually work out pretty much every day, and sometimes I take a day off, so it's kind of nice to just wake up and take it easy and get ready for this, you know?
Yeah, no, I feel you. I stopped going to the gym. Sucks. I miss it. I haven't been to the gym in probably like a month, maybe a little bit more than that, and it sucks. So, yeah, I gotta get back into that. I know it's not what we want to talk about.
How often do you usually go to the gym?
I mean, I was going 4 days a week, 5 days a week. You know what I mean? I try to do like 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off, or 2 on, 1 off, 3 on, 1 off, something like that. So,
are you mostly weights or cardio or both?
weights. I do weights. I typically do like 1 body part per, you know? So,
Yeah.
like I have my schedule. And then for a long time, I wasn't doing legs or whatever, but I incorporated legs back into the routine. And then I fell the fuck off a month ago, everything. I've been playing wedding, dude. Like, I've been feeling well and all this shit. So, it's crazy. But yeah, I got to get back into the gym. April 1st, I'm cutting all processed sugar and shit. So I'm hoping that like that'll also help kick me back into gear with all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you with the leg stuff. Like the leg stuff up till a couple of years ago was newer to me, and then I like finally worked it into my routine, and now I do yoga, which is like it's literally like an ass builder. Like I used to have no ass, and now I've got like a fucking ass. And people like people at the club will be like, "Wow, you kind of got a butt," and I'm like, "No, shit." Thanks.
No, I mean, look,
It's
in terms
new.
in terms of yoga, I don't know anything about it, but in terms of leg workouts, and shit, yeah, I mean, like nobody ever wants to do it. Once you start incorporating it, it makes everything else a lot easier. You start to see it, you know. It's everything starts from your legs and goes up. But yeah, yoga one day. I'll get into yoga one day.
It's
I feel
funny
like
the white
maybe
guy does yoga and the Indian dude does not.
Yeah, so I mean, when we used
Is this cultural appropriation?
No, it's funny, dude, because that's funny that you say that. But also, when we used to tour and show up to venues, they'd be like, wait, the Indian guy is Quickie Mart, right? The white guy is Gotham Green, so it's cool. But no, I actually have a shirt. I had a shirt made, my homie screen print shirts, and I had a shirt made that said, white people stole yoga. And so I think I wore it. On the show. I think I was doing like an all Indian show one time, and I may have wore it. I may have made it for that and not wore it, some shit. But yeah, white people stole yoga. That's a fact.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, the yoga studio I go to too is like mostly like well-off white women. I mean, I live in Portland, so it's like 90% white anyways. But like going to the yoga studio, but like the teachers are really sensitive and always like remember to respect the cultures that this practice came from and be grateful for that and everything. Like it's super PC up there, but I really do love my instructors that I pick, and I do like the hot like Bikram style yoga. Or maybe it's not PC to say Bikram anymore, but yeah, it's like 102 degrees and pretty intense power vinyasa. But yeah,
That's
anyway.
cool. I just don't need a lady. I don't need a white 42-year-old lady named Michelle telling me namaste when I walk into a place. Like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Namaste. It's like, that's not how it's pronounced, lady. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're trying to say to me.
Yeah, no disrespect to anyone up there. I love the people up at my yoga studio, but
No, I mean
some
disrespect
of
to
this-
everybody. I mean the disrespect that I'm giving.
I definitely don't. I know that they're trying, but yeah, there are some instructors that I don't really care to take because it's like too much, like laying it on too thick. Like I get it, your white guilt is showing. Like there's
I
no
don't need a
to
girl
go that
named
far.
Michaela I don't need a girl named Michaela telling me what an ohm is. Okay, this is what I'm saying. I don't need it. It's me. You know what I mean? I'm saying that.
No,
So.
I feel you. I don't like the kind of like woo-woo hippy-dippy instructors as much as I do like the ones that are like correcting your postures and pushing you to try harder and hold positions. So
Yeah, that's cool. Look, that's cool. And I am half joking. I know, I mean, I get it, right? I know not a lot of people are doing what I said they are. I'm joking and shit. But no, look, if you can find the right class, the right thing, it helps you, cool. I'm all for that. I don't care if it's Indian, white, Chinese, African, Caribbean. Doesn't matter, dude. If it helps you and you're taking it serious, then good for you. Clearly it's working for you. You got women commenting on your butt. So seems like it's working for you. But
it is. I mean, I do it 5 days a week, and then I work out usually about 2 days a week. So I think that
now you're 5 days a week that you go, right? It's always a female teacher.
Yeah, they do have male teachers, but they all teach at like 6 a.m. So I just haven't taken a course from any of the guys for some reason. They're all early.
Got it. So it's like a massage place. You want your woman, is what you're saying, basically.
No. Actually, I would definitely take the guys. They just I usually go around like late morning, afternoon. So the only instructors are women. So it's not. It doesn't have to do with either or. But there aren't many men that are at the yoga studio, though.
What about the actual classes itself? What's the demographic there? Mostly women?
Yeah, I'd probably say 80%, sometimes 75% women.
Oh, wow. A big percentage.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Every now and then I'll be like, oh my God, there's like 6 guys in class today. Holy shit. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
But it's usually only on the weekends. Like most of the time it's like me and 2 other guys out of like 30 people, 25
okay,
people.
That's what I was going to ask too. How many people are in these classes? Yeah, that's a lot, dude. That's crazy. That's interesting. I mean, I guess. Look, I don't know. You're a single dude, right? So probably a good thing for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't met anyone at the yoga studio. It feels like a lot of people. Like I don't know. Portland people are just like weird, and as far as interaction,
that only happened in early 2000s.
Don't talk to me. I need my space. Kind of. It's just
cool.
That's a whole other podcast that we could do about how Portland people are. Like New Yorkers are warmer and more genuine than Portland people, like just to scratch the tip of the iceberg there.
No, we're nice. We just are busy, you know?
Yeah, and it's just like no bullshit, you know? Like people be like, I don't fuck with you, and keep it moving.
Yeah,
whereas here it's like,
I don't fuck with you.
Yeah, here it's like kind of a mix between, oh, my space, you're violating my space, and you're making me uncomfortable because how you're approaching me, and I don't know, and oh, you're a man, and and it's a mix of that and like the yes man thing you kind of get in LA. So it's like this weird mix of like West Coast and Pacific Northwest, like white attitude. It's a lot.
That's annoying.
It's a lot. It is. Yeah. This is the whitest place I've ever lived. I mean, it is also the whitest like metropolis in America, like as far as like demographic percentage. So you get like all the whites. Like you get every exotic type of white person you could think of. Most of the homeless people here are white. Like it's interesting.
They got the same saying, right? The keep Portland weird shit. Isn't that the same as Austin? Keep Portland weird, keep Austin weird.
Yeah, but the difference is Austin is just weird because it's in Texas.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I wasn't saying that they're similar. I'm just saying they have the same slogan, right? So I mean, any people
Portland
that have
is
that,
weird, like bad weird. It's just like, yeah, it's just weird because people are hella uncomfortable about other people, and it's just like this. I don't know if you heard of the Seattle freeze.
What is that?
It's like a thing where people freeze you out or freeze up on you, and it's just people aren't very socially outgoing. People don't really want to talk to other people outside of their circles. Like a lot of people in the Pacific Northwest are like born and raised in the Pacific Northwest. It's just not a very friendly area. Like it's beautiful though. Like it's really beautiful up here, but it's just not a super friendly, like, you know, great place to meet. It's not like the South or the Midwest or the East Coast where it's like generally easier to meet new people and people are open to having new experiences to new people from other places. Where it's like,
I guess that's interesting.
Yeah.
And we don't. Yeah, like I don't know. That's interesting that you say it like that. I guess now I'm trying to think back in my mind, and out here, which is obviously New York, East Coast. I mean, we don't. Yeah, and the South is known for being nice, Southern comfort, Southern hospitality, that type of stuff. The West obviously is Hollywood, and it's kind of what we look at it, and it's like, oh, that's LA. And it's like, well, it's San Diego. Well, it's like, that's Cali. But I guess from the Pacific Northwest, I'm trying to think about like how we kind of think of you guys out here, and I think the only thing we really think of is, oh, that's just like where like the people who like nature, right? A lot of outdoors activity. It rains a lot, but like we don't ever really get into the temperament of the people when I'm not having conversations about Pacific Northwest every day, but I mean, we usually just be like, oh, that's people who like to be outside, like, you know, like nature and like outdoor activity, shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, you think like, oh, you go to like people who like live in Florida, oh, they like the beach. You know what I mean? You generalize, right? And so, or people who live in Texas, they like barbecue. I mean, these are such weird things, but you generalize. So up here, I guess we generalize Pacific Northwest as just outdoorsy folk. But yeah, we
I
never
mean,
really
it
talked
is
about
that
the temperament.
too. Like when our buddy Malkovich was in town, he came and visited me like a month or so ago. He's like, I want to go shopping, like take me to the Melrose of Portland. So I took him to like the strips where there's a bunch of shopping, and he wanted to get some kicks and stuff and some like, street gear. And it's like he's like, man, it's like all like hiking stores and boots and stuff. And there's like one like kind of shoe spot with like a bunch of Nikes and stuff, and there was nothing impressive or new.
It was a Nike store
No, it's just like streetwear store
next
but
to the
it's-
REI, the biggest REI in the world.
but it's literally it's like Pacific Northwest
Yeah,
excuse me, Pacific
Northwest wear.
Northwest gear. Like there is like definitely like 5 different stereotypes of the way people dress here, and they all
Yeah.
fit in that. And a lot of people are into camping and fishing and doing outdoor stuff.
Yeah,
or
morel-
just
morel
not
boots.
coming out during the rain, which is 3/4 of the year.
I mean, I'm okay with that. Staying in 3/4 of the year, I might be on board with that. Rain, not
I
so
like it sometimes, but it does get like, okay, I definitely need some sunshine. Like I do like the rain, but like
fuck that. I hate the rain.
it's the gray. Like here there'll be like weeks of gray and sometimes no rain, and it's just gray and ugly. And
I can deal with that. I could deal with that though. I just don't like the rain. The rain is a fucking headache. I'm from New York. If it's not gonna be sunny, then it should just snow. Like, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
I fucking hate the rain. But yeah, man. All right, nice little rundown on fucking
Yeah, we'll talk more about
on-
Portland later.
on the
I'm
amount of hate you have
trying
for
to
Portland.
ignore it right now.
Nice. After you spewed all that vitriol, you're like, we can
Had
move
to
on.
get it out.
All right, no problem. Now that everybody from fucking Portland's gonna hate on us, we should move on.
Whatever, nothing new here.
Respect the
They don't
rules.
like Southerners. Anyways, like I said, whole other
man.
topic for a whole other podcast.
No, I feel you. I did ask you earlier about the yoga teachers and if they're male or female, and you did mention female, and I did want to talk to you a little bit about something that I've seen over the last few years that's become much more prevalent. I don't know. I would say like maybe over a decade ago, you heard like one of these type of stories a year, maybe, and then 5 years ago, it started to become a little bit more regular. And as we get to today, these stories about these female teachers sleeping with male students. I'm talking about high school, middle school age kids, and it's fucked up to me, man. There was 2 stories that really recently that bothered me. One was a special ed teacher was caught in a relationship or got caught having a relationship previously with a special ed student that she used to tutor. And that's a wild story. She said that real quick. She said that he went in to her phone, somehow got her password, sent a bunch of messages to himself, and then deleted them on her phone so that he could blackmail her, which is an insane story. But I want to, did you see this or did you hear the story, Mart, about this fucking teacher that had her students put on screen masks and have a gangbang with her?
Yeah, I was looking it up today when you sent me that. I was like, this is pretty wild.
Dude, come on, man. What is happening that this is happening so much more? And what is happening to people where you feel the need that you have to do this? Screen masks? Gangbang?
I think it's social media.
What do you mean?
I just think
What does
that
that mean?
social media has a big influence on why it's happening more frequently. It's easier to reach out on a screen than it was like when we were in high school in the 90s. Like, in the
That's
90s in high school, I feel like it was like more prevalent with male teachers and their teenage students,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that was the majority of them. Those stories you would hear all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even at my high school, it happened.
That's interesting that you bring up social media because I mean, yeah, you hear these stories, and now with the females specifically, it is a lot of it starts with like she sent Snapchat messages. That's interesting, dude. I don't know what's going on, but that shit fucking freaked me out when I saw it, dude. Like, it's not cool if, and I was talking to this about because when these stories came out, I was talking to my girl about it a little bit, and we both agreed like if the roles were reversed and this was a male teacher, this would not be acceptable. This is completely egregious, and like. since it's a female teacher.
Acceptable? Like, is it acceptable?
It's not that it's acceptable, dude, but I feel like
everything I read, people were destroying this woman. Like, all the journalists were just tearing her apart. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I think you see what happens. Like a lot of times, I think they'll like a lot of times the female teachers will get more of a slap on the wrist than the male teachers might get in the same type of scenario. It's easier to be blamed on a mental illness for female teachers. That seems like that's their go-to play. And you know, I don't know. I just think like for see what happens here, right? In my opinion, is that like boys, because I'll be honest with you, when we hear these type of stories, right? As men, like the first stupid thing that comes to our mind is like, well, those weren't the teachers we had, you know what I mean? And like, that type of stuff never happened with us. Look, as a fully formed, grown adult, capable, functioning human being in this society, I'm glad it didn't happen to me. You start to have those feelings, and guys start to feel like it's a badge of honor. Dude, it's not a badge of honor. It's fucked up, and it could leave you fucked up for your entire life, you know? And then I just think we don't keep the same type of stigma on it. It's not looked at in the same way in society. Maybe you disagree with me, but I don't see it being looked at the same way in society, man. Like, and like, it's fucking weird.
I don't think it is. And I mean, yeah, like, of course, my juvenile mind goes back to when, I mean, right. I think one of the kids was 13, which is crazy. And I don't even know if the 13-year-old me would have been comfortable. But at 15, 16, if I had, like, I'm not saying this teacher is hot because I was looking pictures and I was like, ugh, rough. Like, ugh. But
neither here nor there.
I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
But, no, fine.
But I think that some of these kids were probably in the mindset, like, I mean, when you're 15, 16, like, yeah, you want to be fucking.
Oh, it's a badge of honor.
So, yeah, like, so these kids are probably like, oh, yeah, like, I hit it, you know, and la, la, la. And it doesn't make it less fucked up like it is. But no, I'm saying, like, as 16-year-old me, if I had a hot teacher that was sending me private messages and stuff, like, I'd probably be all over it.
Yeah, you don't know what you would do, right? And you're probably right. You probably would be all over it. And then today, where you are at your age, you'd be fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You really would. There's no two ways about it. You know, there's all these type of stories. Like, there was a story not too long ago. I want to say it was probably sometime last year, 2024, where a kid was in a relationship with his female teacher. And I mean, like, they were like in a relationship. Like, she would go to the crib and pick him up or hang out in the crib. The kid's father knew about it and like helped facilitate it. And in my opinion, that's fucked up and crazy as well. You can't be facilitating this for your kid, man. And like, his thing was like, well, he's a boy and, you know, boys are going to be boys. Nah, man, like, that's not true. It's the power dynamic, right? And so it's fucked up when it's the power dynamic. Like, if a 17-year-old boy was in the mall with his homies and happened to randomly pick up a 28-year-old girl, if he wants to do what he wants to do, cool. But in a power dynamic teacher situation, I don't really know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just thought it was worth talking about a little bit.
No, yeah, it's really interesting. Like, I think you're right. Like, society definitely, I think, goes harder on men than they do with the women. Like you said, they get a slap on the wrist, and like, that's kind of that.
Yeah, I agree, dude. You know it. And like, look, and again, I think a little bit of what you said is also correct in terms of like, you know, social media had a lot to do with it. Social media meaning like, now not only can, you know, these girls get on to a platform after they're done, right? Like, so social media, like, these women now can get let's say this happens, a female teacher, right? She gets arrested, and let's say maybe she gets 2 years in jail. She has to register as a sex offender, right? There is a fucking swath of men waiting for that lady to come out and jump onto an OnlyFans or something like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Like, she
fucking gross.
It is gross. It is gross.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, like, also, like, this, when I was reading some of these articles, like, there's one instance where one of the boys, I think the 13-year-old, was saying that they were having sex while her son was asleep on the couch, or her stepson or something.
Come on, man. Like, yeah. What are we doing?
I mean, I would like to know who asked for stepmom porn. Like, when did this become a thing? Why is that ever sexy or hot? It's revolting to me. Like, stepsister porn. Like, who asked for this? Like, why is this a thing that they shove down our throats on Pornhub or wherever you're looking at stuff? Like, it is such a thing. They have whole channels and whole subscription services dedicated to this. It's so weird and gross that it's not technically incest if they're blood, I guess. They're not blood, but it still is incestuous and disgusting.
No, it's fucking
and
gross.
Like,
it's gross.
what?
It's gross. It's gross. It's gross. But here's the thing, like, whatever any person is into, they can find it on the internet, right? And so I think
that
Sebastian
many people
Maniscalco,
into this though? Are that many people into step-sibling, step-parent porn?
I'm sure if it's that big of a thing, then yeah, obviously people are, right? Sebastian Maniscalco had a special some years ago where he talks about it. He's like, before the internet, years ago, like, if you had some weird thing, you would just be downstairs in your basement and, like, nobody would know about it. Nowadays, if you have this weird fetish, like, you could sign up and go to the Hilton ballroom and there'll be fucking 150 people dressed as mascots ready to have sex. Like, whatever you like, you can find it on the internet. And yo, think about this. What we're talking about right now is teacher-student shit. Brother, you don't think that there's a million teacher-student porn things? Like, that's a huge category, I'm sure, just like every other category is.
Definitely.
Everything gets fetishized. Everything gets fetishized and it's fucking gross, right?
Yeah, like, for sure, like, the teacher thing, that's been a theme even before the step porn, Like, even when I search, because I have my filters off on Gmail, on Google, my protection searches or whatever, like,
sure,
like, porn came up when I was searching teacher scream mask gangbang. Of course, it's going to be like, oh, you're looking for porn, not like a news story.
Yeah. Well, that exact story, I'm sure somebody's already either made that video or they're making that video as we're recording this podcast. There is somebody in a porn studio somewhere in probably Van Nuys, California, where there are 4 grown men in scream masks right now with a woman getting ready to shoot that scene. Guarantee you that's fucking creepy.
Sure.
Creepy. The scream mask ain't even fucking cool. Like, this shit's just weird to me.
Yeah, she's gonna get out of jail if she does actually get sentenced, and she's gonna go into porn.
Yeah, she'll be.
Apparently, her husband has already filed for divorce, but he also knew because he got arrested too. Yeah, I was reading. He also knew, and apparently he was making threats to one of the boys. So he knew it was going on, and he was making threats, and that's the charge. I'm not sure the exact charges, but that's why they arrested him.
But, like, what threats could you be making? Like, don't talk about this?
Probably don't bring it up because she could go to jail and lose her job.
I mean, okay, I guess. I don't know. What are you going to do to me? But I get, like, that, I don't know. That's weird to me. Like, that's weird to me. Your wife does some shit like that, and you go and threaten the dude. Like, just file for divorce, like you said, and be good with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just file for divorce and fucking and move the fuck on from it. It ain't that big of a deal.
I mean, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal, but what I mean, it's a huge it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal what this woman did. What I'm saying is, from the husband's perspective, yo, it's time to get a divorce and move on.
Like, I know that I'm saying, like, that is still a big deal. That's, like, really rough. Like, who knows how their connection was. If it was deep enough for him to be threatening these kids, and clearly they're both into some freaky stuff. I
guess. Yeah, I guess. I don't fucking. Shit's weird to me, bro.
Well, yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. I don't. I feel like I need to take a shower just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's just weird to me that it happens so much more. Like, it's happening so much more. Like, and it's obviously it's a story right now, but that's why I wanted to just talk to you about it a little bit. But yeah, it's fucking weird, bro. I don't know. Fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't get it. And I mean, I probably wouldn't have been a victim if the teacher was hot enough at 16. Like, yeah, I probably would have been a victim.
I mean, that's cool, right?
All kinds of drugs. I didn't know left from right. Like, I was making terrible decisions. That would have definitely been one of them.
But, like, yo, here's my thing, right? Like, again, like that. So, like, it's not even. So it's a mental illness, right? Like, meaning, like, if you're, like you said, if my teacher was hot enough, even that woman who had this gangbang thing, like you said, you looked at the pictures, you have your opinion on her, cool. Other people are gonna have different opinions on her, cool. No matter who you are, for the most part, right? Like as a female, and I understand it has a lot to do with confidence and inner self and this that, but as a female, yo, you could go get a dude your own age. And what Mark said was if the teacher was hot enough, well, if you're quote unquote hot enough, why are you fucking with these 13, 14, 15-year-old boys? Why are you not fucking with grown men?
Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely some mental illness going on. There's,
and so, yeah,
I mean, there's clearly
it's
mental illness going on if she's like having sex with these kids in front of her kids while they're like asleep on the couch.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a whole different, or applying them with alcohol and drugs and shit. It's a wild world, dude. Wild world.
Speaking of family stuff, you brought up the 23&Me data breach in our notes, and I read a little bit about it, but yeah, I don't know if there's any.
What do we need to read? Stop sending websites your fucking DNA. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop sending websites your DNA. Like, why are you doing this, Mark? Like, not you, whatever, but like, people send these things in. Like, yo, first of all, how do you know the info they're giving you is accurate? Second of all, why are you putting yourself at this risk? Yo, there were millions of customers data leaked on a hack for 23andMe. Why? I always used to joke around because people would be like, yo, why don't you do Ancestry or 23andMe? And I used to tell people, like, yo, if the government wants my DNA, they're going to have to get it the old-fashioned way, right? Like detective work and collecting evidence. I'm not just here to send you my shit. So, like, the data leak is interesting, but why are people even doing this? Why are people so interested in sending in a website that they don't know their blood sample or their urine sample or their spit sample to try to be told what they are?
Yeah, I mean, I can provide you an answer for that. Like, for instance, my mom and her siblings all did 23andMe.
Tell her to delete her shit now.
I did actually after reading that article. They did it.
Why'd they do it?
They did it because so my grandfather was a POW in Japan, in the Philippines and in Japan during the war. And before he left to war, my grandmother got pregnant with their first child, my mom's oldest sister. And there was, when my grandmother died, there was some questions that if she was actually even their full blood sister, like if there was another father. So they all did 23andMe together, and it turns out she was their actual sister. So they're all.
When did they do this? Again, I mean, clearly they did it in the recent years, right? Because 23andMe is more recent than obviously those women, right? So like, but let me ask you this:
I think
like,
it was
why
about
would they...
7 or 8 years ago that they did it, and I think they did it because one of the siblings suggested that company in particular.
Okay, got it. That's why. That's what I'm thinking, right? Like, because why not just go to like a real laboratory or like a...
Well, they all
live
all over the country now, so it wasn't like it was just the easiest, most affordable option for everyone.
Got it. Yeah, got it. I got it. And I guess that also has a lot to do with it too, right? It's the ease of access and it's the cost effectiveness. But I just never understood these things. Like even that situation, right? Like, I don't know. I guess like if it has to do with like wills and like who's gonna make, who's gonna benefit from like estates and all. Okay, maybe you could convince me that makes sense. But like, yo, people are just out here just like, I got homies that are Italian. I mean, like 1,000% Italian, have been Italians for generations. Their grandparents came here or their parents came here directly from Italy. Why are they needing to do 23andMe? My homegirl just did a thing and she was like, yo, I'm 98% Italian, 2% like Mediterranean. I'm like, no kidding. Like what? I knew that, but I met your mother before. Like I know what you are. Like same thing. People meet my mom. Rest in peace, my dad. Yo, you would have known immediately what I was. I don't need to do a 23andMe to somebody to tell me, yo, you're 99% Indian. Appreciate it. Thanks. Like you know what I mean?
It wasn't like the data from our ancestry wasn't really a shocker. Her family, my mom's side is Spanish Creole, and so we knew it was going to be mostly France and Spain, and that's that's what it was. And but they did find out that we have indigenous in us from and what we're able to like find the tribe and everything, and kind of went into
enough to benefit from a casino.
No.
Well, then
No.
you're not even indigenous. You know?
Enough to where they could have gotten their educations paid for. Not me
Oh,
or
wow.
my cousins or my sibling, but like
Above.
yeah,
The generations above.
yeah, like my mom could have gotten a free education for it. I mean, probably still could go back to school in her 70s or something, but she's not interested in but I mean that yeah, like for me that's not enough to like give my data to a corporation.
That's what I'm
Especially
saying,
when
dude,
like
right?
half of 7 million of its 15 million customers' data is insecure now and
I mean,
possibly
crazy, dude.
stolen.
Like wild, dude, wild shit. You know what I mean? But again, like I don't know. It's just weird. Like people just do whatever. Like it's just like you're not realizing the repercussions, or you don't think through all of the things, and you're like, yeah, send them a bottle of spit. Like what? What are you doing right now, dude? Like this is wild to me. But yeah, no problem. Go to a fucking doctor. Like you know what I mean? Go to the hospital. Go to a lab. LabCorp's all over the place. You know? I don't even want to know. Like what is it gonna do for you? Like not again. Not you. Your mother's situation's a different situation. But like me and you. Like what is it gonna do for us, bro? Like why would we do this? Like I don't. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me. It's a weird situation. But for like wills, estates, things of that nature. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I don't know. It's
Well,
weird.
a lot of people have found out they have other siblings that they'll also do it, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I have a long lost brother, a long lost sister, because my father was a player on the side, and they never
Yeah.
knew."
I mean, yeah.
But I
guess,
mean, I think that's like that happens a lot with these services, but it's not something I think people seek out. It's just like they do it, and then it's like, "Oh, you have
It's
a
like a happy
relative," and they're like,
accident.
"Wait, what?"
it's like a unhappy accident.
Yeah, like,
You're like, oh, yeah. By the
I
way, you
have
have this
two
responsibility.
sisters in Connecticut. What?
Right. Exactly. So
Um,
it's wild.
it is, and apparently because of the data breach, they just filed for bankruptcy.
Yes, sir. Which is crazy
So
because it's just a
they're
protection.
recommending everyone delete their data from the page before the company is sold.
But that's just protection. That's just because we declare bankruptcy. That's it. We're insolvent. You can't sue us.
Yeah.
Like what? You know what I mean? Even that shouldn't be allowed. Like that should not be allowed. You know what I'm saying? Like that company didn't have their bank account stolen. You know what I'm saying? They had their information stolen. So what affords you the legal right to be able to just turn around and be like, well, we're out. Fuck you guys.
Also, it's creepy. Like, who is hacking to steal DNA information? Like, that is creepy. Russia or who knows?
I mean, it could be just some kid in his basement in Toledo. The point is, that's the scarier point, is the fact that, like, whoever it is, why was it so easily accessible?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the scary thing about it is, like, you know, look, dude, like, the government uses that shit. Like, if you don't think that the government is in collusion with those sites, you're wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They sell their
And
data
so-
to any paying customer, including the government.
Right. So all it could be was a situation where maybe it's somebody who's just trying to get in on, you know, some shit on the government, and they're like, well, let's go hack this. We know that they have access to that anyway. I don't know. It could be. I have no idea. It could be Lex Luthor fucking trying to set somebody up for a crime. What the fuck do I know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's crazy. Speaking of crimes, this next guy we want to talk about has got a little trouble in court.
Yeah, this is interesting too because I was looking it up today. And you're talking about Joe Budden getting sued by his neighbors.
Yeah, I'm talking about Joe Budden having legal issues with his neighbors. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Would you like to kick this off since you recently looked it up? What are your thoughts here?
My first thought when I was looking it up is, okay, apparently he showed up at their door naked.
Yep.
And he apparently he sleepwalks.
That's what they say. Or he says.
Look, I don't sleep naked just because I've had people try to break in. I've been asleep when there was a fire, a really bad fire in my apartment complex in West Hollywood. I've just been a light sleeper just growing up in Louisiana with gunshots and sirens and everything. Like, you need to be ready to go. And so at least have some boxers on because you never know when you're going to be out of your house and you can't get back in the middle of the night and you don't want to be naked. Like, so at least put a pair of shorts on, dude. Like, just do, especially if you know you sleepwalk. What are you doing sleeping naked? What
Well, do
are you
people
doing?
know they sleepwalk?
Most people know that they sleepwalk, yeah.
All right. I don't sleep naked because I'm not a creep. I don't need to have all those. I don't need to have all those same reasons that you had. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have. There's no need. My girl sleeps next to me. I'm cool. I'm good. Yeah, he got caught sleepwalking naked. Apparently they record his podcast, which is a popular podcast, but they record his podcast at his crib. And I think his neighbor has just generally had enough of this shit now. You know what I'm saying? And so now, you get to the point where like you just start picking apart everything about a person you don't like.
Yeah.
It's like they're loud. It's like they leave cigarette butts everywhere. They're smoking weed in the place. Like, it's New Jersey. You're allowed to smoke weed, right? And cigarettes are still legal as much as everybody wants them to be illegal.
Yeah.
But it's just like, yo, what's happening right now? Like, why is this even happening to you, dude? Like, number one, yeah, control yourself when you're sleeping. Number two, why are you even recording this podcast at the house?
Yeah, you make millions of dollars. Like, you can't buy a studio or rent a space that's more professional than your house. I mean, that just presents a myriad of issues that I would think about. Like, dude, you are this professional. And also, wouldn't it be nice to get out of the house sometimes instead of like
Facts.
working and living at your house? Like, I know people with remote work, and even me when I was doing mostly remote work, like, I would go stir crazy if I was at the house all the time.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, he goes to the strip club like every night, and, parties and eats dinner and shit. So, I mean, he gets out of the house, but like, yeah, forget about all that, like being stir crazy, just for work, life separation. Like, you have enough now with this podcast where you could afford a studio, dude, a beautiful studio, nonetheless. Like, you don't have to
like
be in like a
something
basement.
really nice. Like, I mean, yeah, like who wouldn't it annoy? I mean, I remember when I was living in the same West Hollywood apartment I was talking about, and we'd always have rappers over, and they would do the same complaints. Like, we weren't recording a podcast, but we were making records, and for one, my neighbors were racist. Like, they just didn't like black people all over there all the time. It doesn't matter if they were like Grammy nominated or whatever. Like, they just didn't like that there were black people over and we were smoking weed all the time and making noise. Like, so, and at that time I was like, other than DJ gigs, I was pretty much home all the time. So,
Yeah.
I can understand from someone going through kind of the same thing that, your neighbors are upset with you. But the thing is like, yes, these neighbors suck and they're probably racist, but I wasn't clapping back and being aggressive and being more noisy because of it. I was like, okay, like, I get it. We're being loud and like the weed smoking, like, sorry, you're just going to have to deal with that. But we did tone it down and we did make the session smaller, to try to like, okay, I'm going to be courteous to my neighbors. It wasn't like clapping back and getting so upset subconsciously that I'm like sleepwalking and banging on their door or, being louder in spite of them because they're complaining. Like, I have a neighbor here who gets up super early and works super early. And I asked him, hey, could you maybe use the staircase in the front instead of the staircase in the back that's like near my bedroom? Because he just like barrels down the stairs at like 6, 7 in the morning, and I work.
What did he
late.
say?
Oh my God, he clapped back so hard, and he was just a total dick about it. And he was like, you live in a city and there's going to be city noises. And I'm like, yes, this ain't a city noise. This is something you could easily solve by just using the other stairs that are actually closer to your door. But
So does he use those stairs now?
Nope. He doubled down. He slams the
What?
door. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. So that is just disrespectful. So I understand how Joe Budden's neighbors must feel, because they probably complained and he didn't like it, so he doubled down because he's probably a narcissist.
Yeah, look, I don't know if you follow Joe Budden throughout his career. It's not
I definitely don't. He kind of
it's
annoys
not hard
me.
to,
If
but
I'm
I mean,
being
you've known
honest.
about him enough. But you've known enough about him through me. I mean, you and I have been friends over 20 years. I've been fans of Joe's for over 20 years. So I mean,
Yeah.
like music wise. So you've been privy to Joe Budden. He's pretty narcissistic. There are slight differences though, Martin. I was at that West Hollywood apartment. I was part of some of those sessions. I know exactly what you're talking about. We were respectful. We were quiet. We didn't have nearly as many people. But also, it was an apartment that you were renting and other people were renting. This is a home in New Jersey where conceivably you have yard space, you have, driveways, et cetera, et cetera. This is a suburban neighborhood as far as I know. I could be wrong, could be one of the
No,
condos, but I
you're
think
wrong.
it's his house.
It is it's like a large apartment complex or something like.
Oh, it's condo? Okay, because I know he's got
I
the
was
house
looking
in
at the photos, and it's like from their front door, from the camera from their front door of the photos that they released of him naked. It's like a hallway.
Okay. I thought it would look like more of like a vestibule, but I could be wrong. So, you know what I mean? I wasn't studying it, but yeah, I mean,
think
look,
it's just like luxury condos or luxury
No, I think
apartments.
regardless, yeah, that makes sense. Probably like townhomes in Jersey and shit. There's a lot of those. At the end of the day, dude, like you could easily solve some of this shit. Like you could soundproof the crib if you don't want to leave the crib. Like, you know what I mean? You could tell your people, yo, just don't put cigarette butts in front of that house. Put a fucking can of coffee in front. Like, you know what I mean? There's so many ways to kind of go about this and move around this so that it's not an issue. But the biggest, easiest, low-hangingest fruit is take this fucking podcast to a studio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of my opinion.
Yeah, easy. And honestly, it just will provide better sound. It'll probably look better. You know, you could even make a business out of that and rent the space out to other people that want to record podcasts and make even more money.
Yeah, I mean, his shit does look dope. And, you know, I don't know what the podcast network he's got is doing with other pods and shit like that. But, I mean, he's making enough money off the pod. I don't think he's concerned too much with, like, how to make more money, which maybe he is, or maybe he's constantly on that. I don't know. But in terms of this issue, like, yo, you're going to court now. They're taking you to court. Like, you're going to have to deal with this. You're going to have to explain all this type of shit. It's going to be funny to watch it. It's going to be interesting to hear his takes on it versus, you know, the whatever minimal news will come out of it. But he's always into some shit. It's always funny to me. Like, he's always doing like wild shit, always getting into some shit. I kind of just wish Slaughterhouse stayed together. That's my own personal thing. Go back to making music. I know I know he's never going to make music again, but I would love it if Joe Budden went back to making music. But, you know, he's up to his shenanigans again.
I've never been a huge fan of him, but I like him more of a musician than a podcaster.
There you go. We could kind of let's cap our Joe Budden conversation on that, because that's probably the biggest. Yeah, that's probably the biggest compliment you've ever given Joe Budden. So I'm gonna let that ride out.
I mean, it's just like, yeah, like you save money and all these different things you're talking about, but you're gonna spend more money on legal fees, and this is gonna be a pain in the ass because they're your freaking neighbors.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, this is not something that you're just going to easily be able to move on from, right? And so, like, even if this court case gets resolved or you settle or whatever it may be, you're still going to be that person's neighbor. So,
yeah.
I don't know, you know what I mean? They're still going to have a problem with you. They're still going to have issues with what you do. And it's a problem, but you heard Martin, you know, I heard you, Mart. I heard what you said. And you said you like Joe Budden, the rapper. I didn't hear the rest of it, but I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. Well, since we're talking about court cases and legal stuff, we could move on, I guess, to what we're going to talk about at the end was this Signal Gate with all of this. This is crazy with, yeah, I know. This is nuts that, so basically Mike Waltz, who created this Signal chat with pretty much all the heads of state, and they were communicating war plans and sensitive and classified information through Signal. And they added, Mike Waltz actually added Jeffrey Goldberg, who is the editor of Atlantic, who, mind you, is kind of a conservative reporter also. So it's crazy that he even spoke up about this to me, but I guess it's just like a huge story, so why not? Because you're gonna break it. But it's pretty wild that these people were communicating on their own personal devices through an encrypted app that you get off the App Store.
This is why I hate group chats. You never know what's happening in a group chat. You don't know who got added to a group chat. You gotta watch what you say in a fucking group chat. Yo, are you telling me? Is somebody trying to tell me right now that the fucking people that lead this country are on a WhatsApp group chat talking about plans to bomb countries? Like,
yes.
I know it's Signal. I know it's this, that. Like, yo, this can't be real life, right? Like, this is not real. This has to be some sort of like a skit, right? Like, this is a comedy that we're watching. This is Wag the Dog. Like, this is that stupid ass movie, if you know that movie, Mark. But
Yeah, it's a great movie.
yo, what is happening? Like, and this is, it's funny to me. Like, this is just proof that because history repeats itself, and humans just never learn, right? Like, yo, you had the lady who was using private servers in her basement. You had the moron who took fucking documents out of the house and put out of the place and took it and put it in his house. You had the other moron that took documents out of the place and put it into his place. Now you idiots are on a fucking open group chat. Like, what's happening, dude? What is going on? And then they tried to deny it, and there were no plans and this and that. And then, like, the plans are evident. And the guy, like you said, the journalist that was added, he excused himself from the chat, if I'm not mistaken, right?
He did, and they didn't even notice. Like, they still didn't notice that he was added to the chat by Mike Waltz.
And was it before or after he set out screenshots, right? He like actually posted screen. Was it before or after that they came out and said that none of this actually ever happened?
It was before, because from what I gathered from all the news stories I read and saw, is he was nervous because he didn't want to get in trouble. Sure. That he was in the chat. So that's another reason why he came forward with a story, because he didn't want to get, like, in case this did leak.
What else you think these guys are discussing on?
Oh my
on
God, who
chats?
knows? And who knows how many other chats? I mean, they're violating 3 federal laws. Like, one, you're not supposed. I mean, they're being hypocrites, because this is exactly why everyone went after Hillary Clinton. Which, I mean, if you know me, I just don't like politicians in general, and I don't like her either. But she was communicating off of government communication, which is illegal.
Yeah, like I said, one moron had
You're
her
not
server
on
in her basement.
secured channels.
Correct.
And so,
Correct.
and there's also government records have to be preserved specifically for sensitive and classified information and communication, just so people can have accountability. So
how
they're
many
hiding.
of these morons on this chat do you think have either lost their phone or forgot their password? This is what you guys are using?
Yeah, it's
Like, what the
insane.
fuck?
On their iPhones, it's insane. Well, one of them, too, Steve Wickoff, was actually in Russia meeting with Putin when all of these texts went out. He was actually in a meeting with Putin when these texts went out. And it's public knowledge that Russia has been trying to hack Signal aggressively for these specific reasons. So,
how do you think that
I mean, I
conversation
think we're not, I mean, when this airs in a week, like, we'll probably know a lot more information about this. And I'm sure all kinds of cats are going to be coming out of all kinds of bags, and it's just going to be nuts. And I mean, like, the head of CIA and Tulsi Gabbard are denying it completely. And they're saying, oh, there's no wrongdoing, when clearly there's a ton of wrongdoing. And they're just going to have to keep backpedaling and being like, oh, I mean, Tulsi Gabbard was even like, oh, I didn't know that you had to use secured channels. It's like, these people are not. We knew this from the beginning. These people do not have the credentials or the experience to be in these positions. And clearly they're like communicating like they're freaking high schoolers or college students with sensitive government information and freaking war plans.
I think it goes. I think you're not wrong, right? In terms of like they don't have the experience, some of them, whatever. But I also think it goes more to what I said, right? In the sense that like history repeats itself and people never learn. So you're gonna do the same shit because it's the easy way out, right? It's the easier thing to do than to have to go through all of the proper channels is to just fucking message it to somebody from your phone. Fine. What they're gonna do is exactly what they're doing now. They're leaning on the playbook that has worked on this shit in the past. We didn't know we weren't allowed to do that. They said that. They didn't get in trouble. People in the past. They're gonna lean on, well, Hillary did this, right? And it was proven that she didn't do it with malicious intent. Like, watch them come out. Now, the story will continue to evolve. And like you said, for now, we do record a week in advance. Martin and I, you and I have talked about that, and perhaps we will shrink that window. But for now, yeah, we record a week in advance. So by the time the listeners will get to hear you and I talking about this, there will be more information about this. But mark my words, eventually that'll go to, there was no malicious intent. It was done accidentally. It was just done, you know what I mean? Whatever. And they've done it in the past. So we'll just sweep it under the rug. And I think you and I, one of our central themes in our conversations when we start to talk about politics or power or whatever it may be, is exactly what you and I have talked about for years, brother. It's not about the rules. It's about who has the most power, the most money to adjust and fix those rules, right? And so it's their turn to run this country right now. And so they'll fix the game so that they're not going to get in trouble for this shit. I think you and I both know that.
Yeah, it's like we've said before. It's like privileges, not laws and rights.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
And
exactly.
they got the money and they have the power, and they're clearly ignoring all the judges, and they're just like, what? Do something. What? You're not going to do anything. And they're probably not. They're just going to like keep throwing court cases at them. There's not going to be any kind of physical aggression to stop these people from doing what they want to do.
You just used a throwaway line, dude, that I think it basically sums up exactly how I have felt about all of these politicians for a very long time. And you didn't even know you just said this. And it was so fucking poignant, and it struck to me because it's exactly how I felt that they've all been treating us. I just have never voiced it like this. But what you just said was extremely accurate in my mind. What? Do something. That's crazy. That's crazy that the mentality of politicians in this country, in my opinion, today is what? Do something. You're seeing what I'm doing. Do something about it, which is crazy to me. So you're right. I think that they are continuing to have that sort of hubris, and they're like, you ain't gonna do shit. And you know what? It's fucked up is I think that they're right, because if somebody steps up to try to do some shit, they'll change the game.
Yeah.
Right. And they'll create something where, well, no, here's this loophole. Well, what? Well, that loophole's not real. No, it's real. We created it. Like, what? That, you know what I mean? So if you rig the game, then you can't lose, right? But let's not lose the fucking plot. Yo, you guys are communicating on fucking devices that literally a 16-year-old working at Apple in this first year can access all that shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is pretty wild. I mean, it violates the Espionage Act, which is probably the biggest part of this whole thing. It's like
correct.
Anyone, like a smart enough hacker in their teens could get into this conversation. And that's not just like, specific to the US. Like that could be like a hacker anywhere in the Middle East or China or Russia or any of these other perceived enemies of the US. Anywhere. And I mean, it does it does put citizens and soldiers at risk.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And that's the scariest part of this is like these people are treating this like I saw some journalist say like my meetings with the PTA over Zoom are more secured than these chats.
That's a fact. Dude, right now there's a scammer in Nigeria looking at both of these. Should I hack into this conversation with these morons or should I hack into 23&Me? You know what I mean? Like, this is what's happening, dude. Like, they're all these kids are lining, all these scammers and these cyber hackers are lining up to fucking now get into your shit and to figure out what other shit you guys are talking about. Because this won't be the last one. This is the first one.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
So,
especially now it's public knowledge that they're like, oh, they're doing this? Like, what else are they doing on this?
Right. You know what I'm saying?
And
so
I don't know if there's any accountability that they have to where they would change that behavior.
No, they don't. That's what we keep talking about. You
like
and I.
They could
don't
switch.
Have to.
Maybe they switched apps. Maybe now they're actually on WhatsApp instead. But that's even less secure.
No, yeah, it's probably just iMessage. You know what I mean? There's one Android in there, and then now they're all like, "Oh shit, we can't get out of this chat." You know?
Oh,
like,
just go get another burner phone.
I don't even understand. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's just, I don't know, man. Like.
It is it is the most basic thing. Like, I am no way qualified to have any of these jobs, but I would be super paranoid about doing something like this. I'd be like, if I was appointed to one of these positions, I'd be like, I don't know if we should be doing this here, guys. There's got to be a more secure way. Like,
dude, I have a group chat with my softball team. These guys have a group chat talking about dropping bombs. This is not normal.
I feel like people that are trapping are safer than this and
100%.
smarter than this to communicate on more secured channels and like realize who they're actually sending messages to.
I mean,
and not, like no one checked. Like I saw someone was like, well, it was just JG. for his initials, and they must have thought it was someone else. But like, no one checked to see who all. There's like 17 people in the chat, I think. No one checked.
Why are you saving anybody's information as JG? What does that even mean? How are you gonna know who that is?
Like, if you're a person with influence, like, I mean, I have thousands of people on my phone. I would be like, who the hell is JG?
Dude,
there's got to be several JGs in my phone.
Come on, man.
Jason Graham or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
John Grisham, like, you know, like, who the hell is JG?
I don't know. I'll put in like John from bar, and then 3 days later, I'll be going through my phone. I'll be like, who the fuck is John and what bar? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Totally.
Why is there a dude's phone number in my phone? Like, what's happening? You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
But I don't know. These guys are wacky, dude. Like, this shit just never, it just doesn't stop. Like, every day is just some other train wreck, and you're just like, okay.
It's kind of like what we were talking about a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week, is like,
what was that?
Shoot first, ask questions later, or like deal with the damage later. Act
that's
now,
their motto.
Deal with the interest later, or whatever.
Yeah, that's their motto. We ask for forgiveness, not permission. That's 1,000%.
And they're just like sloppy, man. Like, this is so sloppy. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, dude, watch them jump on that playbook of he did it, she did it, they did it. So no harm, no foul.
And even if that doesn't fall on them, they're just gonna be like, oh well, what we can do this. We can do whatever we want. We control the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, the executive branch. Like, we could do whatever, and no one's gonna say anything.
Yeah,
and if they do,
exactly.
they might say some stuff, but nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's correct. So right, exactly. Or they'll do that, right? They'll sweep it under the rug, quickly move on from it. Some other shit will come out, and you'll have forgotten about this. Like, by the time I get married in fucking June, we'll have forgotten about this.
Maybe. I mean, it could blow up.
It could, but I don't think it's going to.
I think you're right. I think nothing's going to happen. No one's going to be forced to take accountability, and no one's just going to take accountability on their own either.
Exactly. And that's kind of the nail on the head, right? Like, there's no accountability, and we're going to just change the game so that we don't have to take accountability.
Yeah.
You know? So it's fucking nuts, dude.
And I mean, like, no
crazy.
Democrats are going to do anything about it. They're just going to complain about it. No one has any backbone to do anything anyways, so.
Correct. Actually, Hillary Clinton posted a tweet about something, like, she was like, you got to be kidding me. And everybody was like, lady, sit this one out. Like, I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, like, go away.
But like, she literally
like, we
tweeted,
do not
like, you gotta be
need your
kidding.
input. Everyone has got
nobody.
to have their frickin' opinion, and it is.
I tell you, dude.
I mean, here we are with our own opinions, but I'm just saying, like, all these other people that haven't helped, all these politicians that haven't helped, that haven't progressed us to force people to be able to take accountability or force people to actually serve out sentences that do have wealth and privilege. You know, it's just like, that's why they're getting away with it, because they're like, you're not going to do anything.
No, but look, here's the thing, dude. Everybody's allowed to have their opinion, right? You're allowed to have your opinion. Like, nobody wants to hear your opinion publicly, lady, but more so, you should, like you said, we have our opinion. Here's the deal, dude. When I was a kid, I got caught stealing a Snickers bar. If we go over a story about a kid stealing a Snickers bar, I probably shouldn't be the one to come out and be like, that guy is a horrible kid and he should be hung in front of the store. My man, you got caught doing the same thing. Like, maybe you keep your opinion to yourself on this one, right? So that's what I would say to her is like, lady, you can have your fucking opinion. Just nobody needs you to put it out on a public platform. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just say it to your husband who doesn't give a fuck what you have to say and move on from it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's crazy. But, yeah, she had something to say about it. And you're just like, oh, okay. Like, everybody, I bet you Joe Biden has something to say about it, you know? And just nobody cares, dude. Nobody wants to hear about it.
Yeah.
Like, just enough now.
Yeah. It's
wild shit, dude.
Yeah, I guess we'll just see how it unfolds. It's gonna be all we're gonna see in the news for the next few weeks, if not months.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it'll be up for a while, and then it'll fucking disappear like a wave into the, you know, sunset.
Because I'm sure there's gonna be all kinds of other fuck shit coming up that we just aren't even ready for. Agreed.
What if this whole shit came out to the light and they hacked 23&Me? Just to throw you off the scent of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's not inconceivable though.
No, it's not. But also would be beneficial to enemies of the U.S. outside of the U.S., like international enemies, to
Sure.
have like 7 million plus people's data, DNA data.
Sure it would, but it would be a lot better
and
for the
financial
government.
information. I mean, that's invaluable. Just
Sure,
to
but it'd
sell
be a
them
lot.
Temu products, you know.
That's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. Sheen's about to send everybody in America a fucking discount code. And like, how'd you get my info? Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about how I got your info. You want this 15% off this sweater or not?
Yeah.
You know? And people are gonna jump at that 15%. They're gonna be like, oh my God. And then that happens too, right? And it's like people put their fucking internet information all over the internet. They're like, how did it happen to me? Well, I don't know.
I know,
I
or
can show
like
you.
these surveys and picture posts on Instagram that I always see people posting. It's
Oh
like,
my God.
show us your march, or where have you been in the world, or la la la. Like it, like, and they're like threads, and it's like, dude, you don't see how this is people collecting data on you.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, it's crazy, dude.
You're so self-involved that you want to show people where you've been or how your month was or who your parents are, that you don't see it for people collecting data, or you're so apathetic to where you do realize that, but you don't care because you'd rather your followers see it.
Yeah, that's correct, right? Vanity, my man. Vanity rules. You know what I mean?
It
I need
is.
that like. I need that like. I need that view. I need that, you know what I mean? That validation from a stranger.
It really is the Achilles heel of the society, is like people don't care. They'd rather just be vain.
Yeah, correct. And again, that leads us back to basically, you know, the other topics we were talking about, and like, you know what I mean? Like the female teachers, and they'll get an OnlyFans and boom, they hit it, and now they got their fame, you know what I mean? And you get your 10 minutes or 15 minutes of fame, and that's it. The world moves on, and the shit happens again, and fucking, you know, some other moron is gonna add some stupid person that's not supposed to be on a text to a text, and that'll blow up. It's just the shit just continues, man.
I
Like,
know
it doesn't,
people never learn, like whether it's history or recent events that keep.
Doesn't
I
matter.
mean, it's just like it's just new names and faces every time.
That's it exactly, dude. The book stays the same. The characters change.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's really the truth of it, man. But I think those were that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about this week, my brother.
Yeah, I got nothing. This conversation has taxed
out of this
me
conversation.
I'm like,
out of this
damn, I had
conversation,
to
or-
miss yoga, and then we talk about this stuff. Maybe I will try to go before I have to go to the club. Like, I feel
cleanse
like
yourself.
I really
Cleanse
need
your
to
soul.
sweat it out now.
Hey, cleanse your soul. Cleanse your soul. Well,
Seriously, I
that's
definitely
how-
feel like taking a shower after talking about the teacher and the Scream Mass gangbang.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wild shit, dude. Well, I'm sorry that talking to me requires you to go have a fucking soul cleanse afterwards. But this is the life you chose to being my friend. So
Hey, it's all worth it, buddy.
it's fucking crazy, man. I don't know. Yeah, it's fucking wild, dude. 23&Me. Joe Budden's got court issues. The Trump admin is just.
Well, I mean, we'll never run out of material with Trump being in office. I think,
no. Well,
I think a
yeah,
lot
we
of
never-
people are on that page. I mean, the news cycles love it, you know.
Yeah, the world is a wild place, dude, and it's scary. But yes, we'll never run out of material as long as this guy continues to be around. I'm sure the next guy will turn around and give us material as well. And you know, you lived in LA for a very long time, and we talk about Gavin Newsom one day, or you know, some of that wild shit that's happening over there and stuff. But yeah, it is unfortunate because if you don't laugh or try to find the funny in some of these things, it's enough to make you go crazy and really get mad and angry and sad and all that shit. So I'll speak for you on this one. We choose to see it through the lens of how can this make us laugh, dude? Because enough shit is tough. And so we try to joke with each other and bullshit with each other and keep it light. You know what I mean, Mark?
Yeah, I think
Otherwise-
talking about it with you, like, or just
Helps.
anyone in general, just talking about it feels better than just like trying
Keeping
to
it to
be
yourself.
apathetic or complacent or indifferent about it, because
Yeah, I agree.
it affects
I
us.
agree.
It affects our
No, I
lives day to day. I mean, all the stuff they're doing, all the horrible things they're doing is slowly eroding our rights. And
Yeah.
it is very similar to how Nazi Germany first started operating before they went to war and before they were sending people to, prison camps.
Camps.
So,
Yep.
and concentration
Yeah.
camps. So it is something to watch, and it's something to talk about, and it's something to be on your toes about if you care about your rights at all.
Yeah, I mean, look, I like talking to you about it as well. I like talking to people from, just talking about their different thoughts and opinions, and taking those opinions to heart, not just having you speak while I wait to speak myself. I'm actually listening, and I like talking to you. You and I come from different places. We have a lot in common, and we agree on certain things and we disagree on certain things. But I mean, yeah, we'll obviously keep an eye on what goes on, you and I, and talk about it. And I'm sure there'll be days where we agree on everything, and there'll be days where we don't necessarily agree on everything, and that's good. That's why I think these things need to be talked about, like you said, instead of just kind of staying apathetic to everything. And we will continue that, my brother and you and I. And that's really it for me this week. I think if you got anything else, otherwise I'm gonna go fucking take a nap.
Yeah, I got nothing. But I did want to say like and subscribe, follow Gotham at Gotham Green, follow me at Mart_escape_hatch, 2 Cynics in a pod, on all the networks, and Gotham will be back next week.
Yo, I'll see you next week, brother.
All right, peace, my man.
Peace, brother.
I'm high pace with a high rise taste.
Addicted to the vapors of paper.
Embark in the darkest sins in the hearts of men. Every rapper that rap ain't celebrity.
I'm high pace with a high rise taste.
Addicted to the vapors of paper.
Embark in the darkest sins in the hearts of men.